So then, the Bentley Continental GT, 6 litre, W12, 2.5 tons, pretty quick, horrendous MPG, extremely comfortable, and more of a grand tourer than a supercar. But in this Bentley Continental GT, you can also add sub 4 second 0 to 60 to that description. And that's because this isn't really a Bentley Continental GT, this is a Bentley Continental Supersports, and that means it's part of the 600 plus brake horsepower club, and it accelerates a bit like this. Whoa, that is crazy. That is how a W12 launches a 2.25 ton car. This thing is 80 kg lighter than the standard GT, and it's so planted when you floor it, as if all 4 wheels are just driven into the ground because of the weight. It makes the pickup absolutely ridiculous. There is a tiny delay from foot down to power, as if the huge W12 is taking a breath before launching you into the future. Whoa, I cannot explain how fast this thing is. Imagine the cars you've been in when your friend has scared you with acceleration. This is that quick. This is one of those cars. That is just wrong. Nothing this heavy should move that fast. To be precise, it does 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and 0 to 100 in just 8.1. And at the time, that made it the fastest Bentley in production. It was also the most powerful, with an exact horsepower of 621. And another feather in the already impressive cap is this car is part of the 200 mile an hour club, 204 miles an hour to be precise. Now, I'm not going to do that on English roads because, or rather, I'm not going to film that while I do that now. I'm not going to do that on English roads because there's nowhere on English roads you can do that. But it's all stacking up so far. You have Bentley comfort with supercar speeds, and another party trick this car has is the way this thing stops. Thanks to its huge carbon ceramic brakes, which are standard on the Supersport, braking is almost as shocking as launching. Yep. The wheel that I was holding in is now in my penis. Yes, it is. It also handles fairly well. Of course, this is a GT, so it's not going to give you the feedback of a thoroughbred supercar, but with a tweaked 6-speed automatic gearbox that is capable of a double downshift and changes that are apparently 50% quicker than the standard GT, and also firm suspension. The Supersport does feel like a performance sports car rather than a wallowing old Bentley that some of the Continentals do feel like. One important thing to note that it does share with the standard GT is the horrendous fuel economy, but you don't buy a Bentley with that in mind. And interestingly, I was reading when researching this car, the Supersport can run on bioethanol, so that will somewhat mitigate the draining of the bank balance. But the headline numbers are 11 mpg around town and 24 mpg on a long run. I actually did the calcs for myself, and I do around an 80-mile round trip commute daily with around 2,000 miles per month. So I would spend roughly £1,100 on fuel per month if I own this car. And that's on top of £5,250 per month on road tax. That's just under £14,000 per year. So yes, if you were wondering, are these expensive to run? Very. That is a madness. But what is also a madness is the interior. It feels prestigious in here. I reviewed a Range Rover L322 and I said it felt like it belonged on a country estate, and this is much the same. It's hard not to act like a snob when you're in something this nice, this refined. Everything around you is handcrafted. It feels like it's really been thought about and they've taken time to build it. It's not just a production line car, it's a Bentley. And the standard GT is a comfortable place to be, but this with quilted Alcantara, with contrast stitching, a leather dash, high grade metal all around, it feels upper class, if you will. But much like the upper class, it does feel slightly oldie worldy in here, especially the infotainment system. To stream music, for example, you have to plug into a wire in the glove box, which is not too much of an inconvenience, but It doesn't feel very prestigious when you have to mess around with wires. That being said, there's no doubt it is beautiful in here. It's also sportier than the standard GT. The front seats have a carbon fibre shell. Carbon fibre seats in a car that weighs 2¼ ton. It seems futile, but I guess every kg counts, especially when you're an aggressive young driver like me. It really makes a difference. Oh, this is just so much fun. It's so strange being in a car this luxurious that goes this well. The only comparison I can think of, and it's a strange one, is the Range Rover SVR. Both have a huge engine, both have a great noise, fantastic acceleration, both very luxurious, but this just does everything better. It's nicer inside, it handles better, the noise is more refined. It doesn't feel like a wallowing 5-litre boat like the SVR. This is just the epitome of luxury power. Wow, what a special car this is. It also looks the part. Some of the first generation Continental GTs look, how do I say this? They look like they should be driven exclusively by fat old men. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw someone young and healthy getting out of this car, because it's fully dechromed. It's got black lights around, black bonnet vents, black little details on the wing mirrors, a Supersports black stripe, a black grille, blacked out and lighter alloys, slightly tinted LED tail lights. It's a very good looking car, and without doubt one of the best looking versions of the first generation Continental GT. So then, it's quick. Oh, it's very quick. One of the fastest cars I've ever driven quick. In fact, it looks fantastic, it's comfortable. It does 200+ miles an hour. It does 0 to 60 in 3-something seconds. It handles, it's perfect for cruising. There's really, apart from maybe the running costs, not a lot wrong with these cars. And the amazing thing is, you can pick one of these up for between 30 and 50,000 pounds. And honestly, I think you'd be hard pressed to find something that ticks more boxes than the Bentley Continental Supersports. I'll see you next time. Elegant power, you would say. I don't think you would compare this. Bloody hell, I need fuel again. God, that's going to be a recurring theme in this review, I think. God, this thing is... No. Don't pull out on a 2.5 ton Bentley.